are you, Mayor?
I'm well, Joe. Beautiful morning.
Indeed. Yeah, August is really shaping up to be much better than July so far. Let's hope it
Absolutely.
lasts, yeah.
Well, it's hard to believe we're talking about August. It really is.
I know. Well, as we've talked about many years now, that once the 4th of July hits, summer's over.
Yeah. My aunt used to say we were kids.
According
to
to
drive me crazy.
That's right.
But I knew what she meant.
But you had an opportunity to take a little summer trip down to our nation's capital last week.
Yeah, there's no place probably hotter and steamier than D.C. in the out of the summer.
That's
but
true.
Yes, we did. As part of the General's Bridge Park dedication, we, meaning my staff and I, have been working on a documentary about all these generals and about the sculptor and the portrait artist, and once the whole program and dedication is finished, the documentary then will be edited and released for people to see. And part of that will be interviews with each of the generals. And so I had an opportunity to, and that was the main reason to go down, was to go to the Pentagon and interview General James McConville, who's Chief of Staff of the Army. So he's the number one guy for the Army. The Army has more than 1 million soldiers and civilians working for it. It's a pretty vast organization to run. And as you know, as we've been talking about this for a while, McConville's one of the 7 that we're honoring on that September 11th day. And he'll be actually the highest ranking official there because he's still active, where many of the others are retired, or some have passed on. So it was fascinating. Of course, the Pentagon, I was there years ago, but the security is even tougher and tougher. But we were in there and we had a great interview with him. He showed us his office and a lot of Boston sports memorabilia and Quincy touched to it. He's a remarkable individual. And then that night we had dinner with him and his wife Maria at their quarters at Fort Myers. They couldn't have been kinder and more gracious. Just top quality people. And Jim McConville was a West Point grad, and then he went on to Georgia Tech and got a degree in aeroscience and engineering. He's a very, very bright guy, but very regular and so proud of being from Quincy and Marymount. Just incredible. And because while he was down there, when we finished the interview, picked up the phone and he called down to Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, Mark Milley's office, and said, "Is Milley around?" He said, "I want to bring my mayor down to meet him." He said, so we walked down the hall and we went into the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, Mark Milley, who's from Winchester, who was very, very nice guy to meet, very regular, down to earth. So a nice chat with him. I talked a little bit about Quincy and Massachusetts and politics because he's from Winchester, Massachusetts. So it's remarkable the amount of hierarchy in our military that come from this region of the country. It's pretty incredible. So then, of course, I also had the opportunity to meet up with Congressman Lynch and some of his colleagues from different parts of our country. We talked about the infrastructure bill and the challenges cities are facing, and they couldn't have been kinder. And Steve Lynch does a terrific job, in my opinion, representing his district, particularly Quincy. We're in touch all the time, and he's very caring and very interested in what goes on here. So, we got a great partnership with him, great relationship. So that was obviously great. And then, of course, we squeezed in a little time to walk around and see the monuments and memorials, which is, I never get enough of when I get down there. It's, if every American had the opportunity to get out and kind of check out the monuments, check out our history, read a little bit more, and maybe we'd all appreciate what we have a little bit more.
It is a trip worth taking, for sure. And, of course, the Pentagon was the site of one of the terror attacks on 9/11. So is there a tribute there, do you know, or memorial? I haven't been since.
Yes, there is. There's a memorial outside, but there's also where it happened in the building. They have, as part of the tour, you see that, they explain what happened there. It's pretty amazing when you think about that the plane did not penetrate through the building. That's how incredibly powerful that building is.
Yeah.
It's the largest office building in the world. There's 21 miles of hallways in that building. It's just incredible. So, in fact, General Rand, one of the generals we're honoring, was in his office that day when the plane hit. He talks about that. I remember having a conversation with him. He got pretty emotional about it. He was part of a group that was in trying to rescue people and retrieve folks from from the burning building. It's just, and then the other side of the coin is the building never shut down.
Right.
That's what's incredible.
Yes.
And the other part was, I thought, just an interesting fact. Interstate 395 is, when you're up on, it's like a raised highway.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking right at the Pentagon. And because of what happened in New York, Virginia Fire and the local fires were all lined up on 395, essentially waiting to see if anything happened in D.C., never think it was the Pentagon.
Right.
So they witnessed it from their fire apparatus from the highway, seeing it hit. And, of course, they immediately went to the site. So that probably helped save some people as well, the prompt response. But it certainly brings all that back. It was 20 years ago this September, and I think it's the day we'll always remember.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit more about the dedication ceremony, Mayor, and maybe some details?
Sure. Saturday,
Yeah.
September 11th,
Mm-hmm.
we have 10 o'clock, and it's going to be right at the location of the park, which is now at the corner of Dunford Drive and McConville Way, as we renamed the new streets in that area. So the bridge is known as the General's Bridge, but we'll be telling the story of each of the generals in the park. The park's broken into three phases, actually, with flagpoles, beautiful park elements, a water fountain. There'll be 3 statues for the 4-star generals and 4 bronze busts of the other generals. They're all important, but we couldn't do full statues for everybody. So the highest-ranking ones received the statues. Those are in shipment to the U.S. as we speak. Coming from a vote from Italy.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty remarkable, the whole process of all this. And that's one of the things we're doing with the documentary, is kind of really going through the entire process and show the construction of the location, what it looked like before, the story of the sculptor who did the Eisenhower Monument in D.C., as well as the Adams and Hancock statues on the Common. There's portraits of each of these guys being put in City Hall. Portrait artist is a Quincy person. Quincy residence is remarkable. So all of that will be identified. But it's open to the public. There'll be a lot of seats and bleachers that morning, 10 o'clock. I expect the program probably to go about 2 hours, Joe.
Okay.
It's a hefty program. There's no way to make it too brief. It is what it is. We've got quite a few stories to tell. And we're hoping for good weather, praying for good weather, and hopefully COVID is still okay.
Yeah.
So again, though, another reminder that I know there's other people out there, Joe, that have not signed yet to be on the honorary committee. And I know they'll be disappointed if they show up that day and not see their name in the book. But as you know, we don't have a master list anywhere the government provides of all the veterans that served from Quincy. People have to step up and tell us. We have the list of people who died in Quincy in the service. But as far as everyone who served, we just don't have that. So if somebody grew up here and went off into the service, or if somebody now lives here and served, please call my office, 617-376-1990. Talk to Mary. We'd like to get your name, your branch of service, your rank, and the years you served. And we have about 500 names right now, Joe.
Okay.
And the names will all be put in the book, and all of them will get a special invitation for that Saturday event.
Okay, great. Good to know. And is there a deadline, Mayor, that you'd need to have
It's
those?
coming up. I was just saying that to my staff yesterday.
Yeah.
Wow, this is the first week of August.
Yeah.
We got to probably put that to bed in another 10 days.
Okay.
All the names, because we're working on the program, the physical program now.
Sure. Okay. So sooner the better.
There's a lot of people out there, and I've noticed this with the generals. They're very humble about their service. They're very modest.
Yep.
And they don't want to brag or anything. This isn't really about that. It's really being part of a community that took great pride in serving our nation, the military. And I want everyone that participated in the service in any way to be part of it. So please, if you're out there listening, or you know somebody, a family member, a neighbor, a friend, please have them call.
Are students being incorporated into the ceremony at all, Mayor?
We're probably going to have the ROTC kids involved.
Okay.
And we're looking at perhaps the band being involved.
Okay. I'm just thinking so many of them were not born when 9/11 happened.
Yeah, it's incredible.
So it'll be a learning experience for a lot
Indeed.
of folks, sure.
Yeah.
Always good to talk to you, Mayor. Appreciate your time.
Same here, Joe. Take care now.
You too. Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch, our weekly City Hall update here on AM Quincy.